welcome. This is Saturday News at Noon. I'm your host, Keith Lander, coming to you from the Tabernacle Baptist Church right here in Dayton, Ohio. Welcome. Appreciate all the comments from the last show. Appreciate all the people who shared out the show. Let's keep that going. We try to give accurate, useful information that you can use for yourself, you can use for the community, and you can use basically to gain a little knowledge of some issues that you haven't thought or haven't seen in the news. So thank you for that. And if you do contact me about a guest that you would like to see on the show or somebody whom you think may be a guest on the show, just hit me and give me a phone number where I can contact these people or email or something of that nature, and I'll make it a point to do what I have to do to try to get these people on the show, because it's a community show. It's for the community and by the community. So we like to have community people on that are doing things in the community that is helpful. And we got a lot of people out there doing a lot of things, and they're not looking for attention, but we like to showcase them every once in a while. And if you have anybody in mind, just drop me a line with their name, organization, what they're doing, and phone number, and I'll make sure I contact them and see if we can get them on the show. So thank you. Okay, so we're going to start the show with the scam alert, like we always do. And this time, the scam alert deals with foreclosure rescue scam. And this is an article out of Dayton Daily News, probably last year, and I just came across it to bring it back up because the scammers are out there working day and night. I don't even think they sleep. They try to find ways to get into your bank account and find ways to grab your money. But if you watch this show, the scam alert, hopefully I'll prevent you from getting took by these scammers. So the foreclosure rescue scam. These scams target homeowners who are having trouble making their mortgage payments. A phony foreclosure rescue company might contact you and promise to negotiate your mortgage with your mortgage lender. Now see, that's the first sign of a scam, is when someone calls you out of the blue, all right, and you haven't called them, and when they call you out of the blue and say they can help, let the alarm bells go off. Okay, I'll continue. You pay $1,000, but the company makes little or no contact with your lender. Another version of this phony investor offer is to buy your house or lease it back to you until you can afford the mortgage payments. Now be very careful of that one. The investor takes your money but does not transfer the money to the mortgage loan or pay your lenders. As a result, you risk losing your equity and your home. And so if these people contact you, and supposedly if you're having trouble paying your mortgage, make sure you check that company out. Make sure you can do an internet search or a Google search and see if that company is an actual company, or you can call the Better Business Bureau or the Ohio Attorney General's office to see whether or not these people are legit. Don't fall for these people calling you out the blue talking about they're going to help, because most likely they're trying to help themselves to your money, to your house, or to wherever else they can get out of you. So be on the lookout. Thank you. Pass that word. Okay. Hey, Trotwood, city of Trotwood, Ohio. Trotwood doing some good things out there. I got to give the mayor, Mayor McDonald, doing a heck of a lot of good things out there. Not only her, but her staff also. I'm not going to forget the staff. She has a staff, and they're working good. They're working hard. They're bringing companies and organizations to Trotwood like in record number. And this one, they have the Goodwill Easter Seals of Miami Valley. The West Campus will have a groundbreaking ceremony. Now, at the day of this taping, the groundbreaking ceremony will be past, because the groundbreaking is October the 28th at 10 o'clock. But, you won't be able to get there if you just see this on this Saturday. But the Goodwill Easter Seals of Miami Valley are having a groundbreaking ceremony on a new community service center in Trotwood. So that's a plus for Trotwood. And also, I think AES also opened up a new innovative center in Trotwood. AES, remember I reported on AES. AES took the place of DP&L. So it's not DP&L anymore, it's AES. And they also have a innovative service center that I believe the center is up and running, but the ribbon cutting was held maybe a few days ago. So hats off to Trotwood. Keep doing what you're doing, Mayor, and keep doing what you're doing to the staff. and the citizens are benefiting from your hard work. And I appreciate it. And I don't live in Trotwood. My sister lives in Trotwood, Wanda. She lives in Trotwood. And so, and I have some other people who live in Trotwood. So, Trotwood, keep doing what you're doing. You keep doing it, I'll keep announcing it. Make sure that people know that you're working hard out there, Trotwood. Keep it up, Mayor. Keep it up, city staff. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure the citizens of Trotwood also appreciate you. So, the next story is the Dayton children. Now, Dayton children's COVID-19 rate down in schools with mask mandate. And this is an article from the Dayton Daily News. It says coronavirus incidence rates decrease in local school districts that mandate face mask, said a Dayton Children's Hospital official. Now, it says, also goes on to say, the official said, what we've been trying to do is partner closely with school systems in towns and with local health department, said the Dayton Children's Hospital Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Adam Merzoff, said during a Ohio Department of Health press conference. The hospital is using zip codes from case data, matching it with schools that have mandatory and optional mask. Now, here's the findings. What they found that incidence of COVID-19 in those schools that had a mask mandate decreased by 67%. Dr. Merzoff also said that in the findings, in the schools that are not mandatory masking, the incident has actually gone up by 30%. So, I know folks was out there hollering and screaming about mask mandates in schools and this kind of thing. Well, here's the data. Children's Hospital has the data, and it's self-explanatory, folks. You can do what you want with the data, but it's there. The masks work. And so this is not Keith Lander's opinion. This is actual data from Children's Hospital. Now, if you want to argue, you can argue with Children's Hospital and the data, but the masks seem to work. So we can put all that other nonsense to rest. All right, we moving on. Let's talk about City of Dayton. City of Dayton launches new campaign to promote neighborhoods. The City of Dayton has launched a new website and ad campaign trying to boost civic engagement and increase in interest in local neighborhoods. Now, Live in Dayton is the .org is the website. That's LIVEINDAYTON.org. That is the website. If you want to go to it, it features neighborhoods profiles of the city's 65 planning districts, and it has basically information on the site about the bikeability, walkability, transit scores, as well as average home and lot size. And so if you want to go to that website, you can. I suggest you do. And it should be up and running. Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley also made a comment about the website. She said it's a really great site. Strolling through it is really easy to use on your phone. So, and not only that, but the city also plans to kick off Know Your Neighborhood ad campaign to encourage residents to get involved in their communities. And what they plan on doing is the city also is planning to purchase 30,000 palm cards in 8 languages that will be distributed and with customized information, possibly such as dates and times and locations of neighborhood association meetings or their contact information. So that's a good sign. And matter of fact, the city plans to put up about 100 yard signs and 24 banners in recreation centers of the 4 locations across the city to let you know about the neighborhood initiatives. So the city of Dayton is getting with it. I suggest you get to that website and check it out. And maybe you want to have your neighborhood showcased and talked about. That's a good thing. City of Dayton doing some good things. City of Trotwood doing some good things. Hey, we're moving, folks. Well, here's an article out of the Dayton Daily News also, and this article also was in the Dayton Weekly News. And let me say this, I repeated this before about the Dayton Weekly News. If you don't have a subscription to the Dayton Weekly News, you don't know what you're missing, because that is a truly neighborhood newspaper focus in on the African American community, and they highlight positive news that is coming out of our community. And this article about the Linden Center was in the Dayton Weekly News. So I'll promote that again. Get your subscription to the Dayton Weekly News, because if you're not, you're missing out on what's going on in the community. So historic West Dayton building garners $500,000 grant to help spur redevelopment. Now, a historic building that once served as a cultural hub for Dayton African American community has received federal funding to help spur redevelopment. The Dayton nonprofit Gem City Hilltop Community Development and Housing Incorporation was awarded nearly $500,000 to improve the building, which has been vacant for years. The roughly 22,000 square foot facility needs extensive repairs, both interior and exterior. The center was built in 1930, and it was added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 2014, making it eligible for historic tax credits to support its redevelopment. And so this is a good thing. Linden Center, I've driven by there over 100 times, and I look over at that building and say, man, they wasting that building. But now it's going to be revitalized. Hopefully it'll spur some other community development in that area. And we'll be going to Linden Center in the future and holding meetings and probably recreational activities, because it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And an historic building shouldn't be treated or left alone for those many years with no planning to redevelop it. You know, I don't think historic buildings were put up just to be historic and then just leave it and let it deteriorate. So that's a good thing, Linden Center, and the corporation who's involved in bringing that building back to life and back to use. Appreciate you. Well, here's a story which a lot of people don't know, and I didn't know it. COVID-19 is the top cause of death for police officers for the past 2 years. I'll read that again. COVID-19 is the top cause of death for police officers for the past 2 years. And this is a study that came out of the AP, and it says the Officer Down Memorial page, which is an excellent website if you want to see all these police officers who lost their lives to COVID-19. I mean, it's called the Officer Down Memorial page. If you go to that page, you click on that page, and they'll have a big long picture list of all the police officers who lost their lives to COVID-19. And it also has a state-by-state list of all the names of these officers. I mean, it's a good site. Now, I'm glad these people put that up so we can see it. It says the Officer Down Memorial page has been tracking law enforcement COVID-19 deaths nationwide and finds that 473 officers have died from the infection since the pandemic started. That's 5 times the number killed by gunfire. And this Bill Kirshner, who is the he's the former police chief, and also he's a security consultant. And he made a statement. He said you are exposed to body fluids. You're exposed to you are exposed on a good day. You're exposed to people coughing. You're exposed to people getting in your face. You're exposed to people talking close range, and you're exposed to the people you arrest, and you're putting your hands on the handcuffs and arresting all these people, which increase your chances of receiving or getting the COVID-19 from a police officer's perspective. And so if you're a police officer out there, I suggest you take steps to, keep yourself safe, your family safe, and the community safe. And a couple of steps you can take: get the vaccine. I know you can't wear the mask because you got to talk to folks and they got to talk to you and this kind of thing, but the vaccine is the most effective way to prevent you from getting the COVID-19. And I'm talking about police officers and everybody else. I mean, this is almost a no-brainer, because if the top cause of death for police officers in the last 2 years is this COVID-19, then I would suggest that these police officers who don't have the vaccine or haven't been vaccinated get vaccinated. We want to keep you around. We want to have you out there protecting the serving until you retire. We want to have you going back to your family, not passing on a potentially deadly virus. So if you're a police officer out there, this is no time to play tough guy with a virus that can kill you and your family. And also pass it on, and you can possibly kill some community members which you come in contact with. So take that tough guy, macho stuff off, because this virus don't care nothing about how macho you is. They'll take you down. And it's done took down 473 police officers. So, trying to help. Just trying to help. If you're a police officer out there, you know somebody, police officer, hadn't been vaccinated, just go to that article. You can look it up. COVID-19 tops cause of death for police officers in the past 2 years due to the pandemic. Get the shot, folks. Get the shot. The shot works. Moving on. Now, this is sports-related. Sports-related COVID-19 information. The headline reads, "You got to be stupid," and it used some colorful language, but I won't repeat those. It says you got to be stupid to get suspended by the NHL, which is the National Hockey League, for a fake vaccination card. Now, this person is Evander Kane, who plays for the National Hockey League San Jose Sharks. He's a forward. He got suspended for 21 games for basically trying to pass off a fake ID or a fake vaccination card to the NHL. And they investigated his card and found out it was fake. Now, the NHL don't have a mandate, but if you vaccinated and you play in NHL, you get more liberties. You don't have to go through all the rigorous tests and all this other kind of stuff. So he thought he can come up with this fake vaccination card and get away with it. And Evander Kane just happened. It's got the article here, and so, but he did apologize. Let me read his apology. He said, "I would like to apologize to my teammates, the San Jose Sharks organization, and all the Shark fans for violating the NHL COVID protocols," Kane said in a statement that was released by the NHL. So he said, I made a mistake, and I sincerely regret, and I take responsibility for it, right? So he didn't realize he made a mistake until he got caught. So, and also, let me bring up the Kyrie Irving, who plays in the National Basketball Association, who's refused to get a test, plays for the Brooklyn Nets. He refused to get a test, and the National Basketball Association season has started. Kyrie Irving cannot play because the protocols for the NBA requires the players to get a vaccine. Not only the players, but everybody associated with the NBA who goes on these games to get the vaccine. Kyrie Irving is still him-humming around, talking about he wanted to do some research, and he made a statement, say he's a voice for the voiceless or something like that, whatever that meant. Here's a man who's making millions of dollars, right? And he's putting his family, livelihood, and his ways of making money on the fact that he wants to grandstand by not taking the vaccine. He wants to grandstand by not taking the vaccine. But Kyrie Irving is the same individual who made a statement publicly who said that the earth was flat. You can look that up. I ain't making that up. This is the same individual who said the earth was flat. And now he says he's got a problem with the vaccine. And he don't want to take the vaccine for whatever reason. Just bringing it up, folks. I wish I could make this stuff up, but I'm just bringing it up. So let's move on.
I had to stop running away from using my voice and using my platform to, speak on what's true and what's mine. Nobody's going to hijack my voice. Nobody's going to take the power away from me that I have for speaking on these things, and don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that shit, man. Like really be aware of what's being said before I even get a chance to be on the podium and speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people saying all these things about what's going on with me, and it's just not true. Pay attention to what's going on out in the real world. You know, people are losing their jobs to these mandates. People are having to make choices with their own lives, which I respect. You know, and I don't want to sit here and play on people's emotions either. Just use logic. You know, what would you do? You know, if you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine. You know, this wasn't an issue before the season started. This wasn't something that I foresaw coming, where I prepared for it. And, you know, I had a chance to strategize on what was going to be best for me and my family. I came into the season thinking that I was just going to be able to play ball, you know, be able to use my talent to continue to, you know, inspire, influence people in the right way. You know, like, putting this on me is just like, why are you putting it on me? You know, like, this is not part of, you know, what's going on in conversations with scientists, physicians, and doctors. I'm just a hooper, right? Like, I'm just a person who's being utilized as an example. For some odd reason, you know, people love to have my name in the mix of just some BS. Like, just hearing the way people speak you know, with so much conviction about what I should be doing with my life and what, you know, my teammates should be feeling about me, what the organization be feeling about me. And
Here's a story. Now, there are some news outlets out there that promotes falsehoods and basically distorts the stories they tell on their networks. And I'm going to call a couple of them out because it needs to be called out. Because what they did was ridiculous. And when I get done with this article and the story, you'll realize it was stupid. And I got this from PolitiFact. And you can go and you can check it out yourself. It says the headline, Newsmax and Fox News air outdated, out-of-context photos of empty shelves in a segment bashing President Biden on the economy. Now, of course, we all know that they're talking about there's a shortage of items and this kind of thing that's due to the coronavirus. The products are not getting to the shelves, as people say, fast enough. But what these two organizations did, and especially Newsmax, they was talking to and had a segment with this representative, James Comer of Kentucky. And this guy was talking about how the policies of the Biden administration has resulted in the empty shelves on the stores and markets and this kind of thing, which is not true. And then they put some photographs up. And I'm going to go through the photographs and tell you what PolitiFact found out about these photographs. The first photograph showed an empty shelf and long lines in London supermarket in March of 2020. That wasn't even in the United States. They just pushed that up there and thought it was people going to think it was in the United States. The second photograph of the aisles of shelves at a Hispanic specialty market in Los Angeles in March 2020, back when former President Donald Trump was in office. So that's when the pandemic, it was revving up. The second photo was a photo that was on Donald Trump's presidency, not Joe Biden. And it was when the pandemic first hit and people were buying stuff like crazy. The third photo shows shelves has been depleted at a convenience store in Japan as the country prepared for a typhoon was about to make landfall in September 2020. The fourth photo showed empty toilet paper shelves in a supermarket in Melbourne, Australia, as the city begins their 7-day lockdown. That was late in May. The fifth photo shows a scene in a London supermarket in July that read, "Please bear with us, we're experiencing high demand." And the sixth photograph showed customers walking through a drugstore in Berlin on the last day the store was open, and the store permanently closed in March of 2012. So these two news outlets took pictures from stores that wasn't even in the United States and didn't even happen in 2021, and posted them on their news channel, talking to this representative out of Kentucky, this James Comer, and they want to blame President Biden for it. So you see how this game is played? The accuracy is not even close. All right? They posted up all these pictures of these places, and it was back in 2020. You see? So, man, I tell you, and one of the things we got to do in this media, and the Supreme Court struck it down, was the truth in media. You know, the Supreme Court struck that down, and they let these people just run rampant and tell anything they want to tell, post any old kind of stuff up, and whether it's truth or lie, whichever, it don't make no difference. They just make it up and just post it, you know. And so there has to be some kind of regulations to stop news outlets from posting stories that are not true, because these people are buying into it and they're getting all worked up thinking it's true. Now, these people who watch these stories on these two networks, and they're real popular, they believe that. But they didn't understand that these pictures wasn't from current United States in 2021. This was stuff in Berlin. This is stuff in China. This is stuff in Melbourne, Australia. This is stuff when the pandemic was just hitting and people were buying everything. So I just wanted to point that out, that these two news stations would do that to sucker people into thinking that the reason why the shelves in these stores are empty is because of something that President Biden has done. But there was empty shelves when President Trump was president. There was empty shelves in the stores also, but they don't want to blame Donald Trump for it. See the way the game is played, folks? Don't fall for that game. Moving on. Maya Angelou is to appear on the back of a U.S. quarter as part of the 2022 American Women Series. Now, the Maya Angelou quarter will be the first coin to be issued in the American Women quarters. That's what's going to come out. There's two other women, Wilma Mankiller, who was the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. Her picture will appear on the back of the quarter. Also, Amy May Wong, the Chinese-American film star, and also Dr. Sally Ride, who was a astronaut and an educator and the first African-American woman in space. So these coins that come out, you'll still have the picture of who is it? Washington on the quarter, on the front, and then on the back you'll see a tribute to these women I just mentioned, including Maya Angelou. You know, that's a pretty big deal. I like that. So be on the lookout. 2022. Be on the lookout for those quarters. You know. NBA expands its support for HBCUs with career development programs and HBCU Classic. Now, the league announced it would be expanding upon its continued commitment to historically black universities with an assortment of new programs that are designed to create greater opportunities for students and alumni, encourage economic advancement, and further celebrate their rich traditions, according to the press release. And you can find this story in an online magazine called The Root. You can find this story. Here's what the league is planning on continuing doing. There'll be a new fellowship program for career development that's set to launch in 2022. The NBA and its franchises will offer undergraduate and graduate students the opportunity to gain real-life insight and professional experience around the business and operation of basketball. That's a good thing. Also, the NBA HBCU Classic, continuing where they left off during the NBA All-Star Game in 2021, the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association will showcase HBCU's community during the NBA All-Star Game in 2022 in Cleveland. This will include also a game between the men's team, Howard University, and Morgan State University. In addition, there's more. The performances and will actually gain over $1 million and give $1 million to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and the United Negro College Fund. That's a pretty big deal. Also, I think there's more. The league also planned to, the NBA and the G League and the Basketball African League will work to increase exposure and opportunities for HBCU communities in order to help elevate HBCU players, coaches, athletic trainers, in addition to expanding programs for potential referees. And so, one last thing, they also plan to, the gaming and esports will also become a higher priority, with the NBA 2K League hosting events to create pathways for HBCU students to pursue careers in the growing gaming industry. So the HBCUs and the NBA are expanding and they're doing some great work. And if you have interest in any of these things, I suggest you get to the NBA website, look it up, find them, because, and if you go to an HBCU, they're coming, and they're looking for you, and they're looking to help in the ways I just mentioned. So that's a good thing. HBCUs are finally gaining some more notoriety. You know, if you don't know about Deion Sanders, the NFL player, primetime Hall of Fame player, he's also coaching Jackson State and bringing attention to the HBCU's athletic program, especially the football program. And so, hey, if you're looking for a university, you're a young student out there, you play sports, or you're going to a career, HBCUs may be the place for you. You know, we have one right here, Central State University, Wilberforce University. Hey, y'all check them out, folks. There's a lot going on. And so I don't want the HBCUs to be left out, and the NBA is stepping up to the plate, and there's a whole bunch of other companies that are stepping up to the plate to help out also. So with that in mind, you know, I'm not going to give a commentary. I did that last week. I'm not going to get on my soapbox this week. I just put the information out there. Share the show. I continue to say that. Share the show. I think there's something in there for everybody to take part in. Keep yourself safe, that is. If you hadn't got the coronavirus vaccine, you know, what you waiting on? Wear your mask. You know, at some of these places I go, I'm the only one sitting in the place with a mask on. You know, and I got the vaccination, but I want to be extremely careful not to get that COVID-19, because it's dangerous, folks. It's very dangerous. You see the commercials. They got commercials out with actual people who basically recovering, and these people were on their deathbed, but they recovered through the grace of God, and they're telling you, get the vaccine. You know, wear your mask, protect your family, protect yourself, protect the community, if you really care. You know, we got a lot of Christians out there. That's supposed to be the Christian way. You're supposed to be looking out for your neighbor. You know, so just want to bring that up. So until next time, may God bless you and your family.